Hey guys, did you just get your June SAT scores back? And are you wondering why your score seems so much lower than you expected it to be? Or are you just wondering why a bunch of high school students are ranting on Reddit and Twitter about how the College Board needs to rescore their exams? If you're in either category, that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get going though, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already by clicking subscribe. And also go check out the best ACT prep course ever. It's over 50 hours of video tutoring with me. I've scored perfectly on the test as an adult and coached a student to a perfect score. We're also going to be coming out with the best SAT prep course ever this fall. So stay tuned for that. Join our mailing list at SupertutorTV.com/subscribe. So let's first take a look at some of the complaints, and then I'm going to talk about why these people are complaining, what the process of equating is, and kind of the history behind all of this score equating and whether this is fair or not, or why this might be a problem. So what is this? What is going on with the June SAT? Well, as some of you might know, or some of you may have seen, there has been an eruption of protest online from high school students who recently got their scores back from the June SAT because the quote-unquote curve was really brutal. It's left some students in tears, and many parents are very angry. We can take a look a little bit at some of the furor that's going on. Here's at K the Mighty, random person. I should have gotten a 1200 to 1300, but instead I have to pay for another test because I got a 1020. Here's one other kid, 305 Fanal Day. This curve is insanity. I improved by getting 13 more questions correct, yet my score only increased by 20 points. This is outrageous. So basically what students are complaining about is that the number of questions that they got wrong on the June SAT was potentially much lower in number than the number that they got wrong on previous tests, and yet their scores were not going up. I found that the curve really got more precipitous or steeper sort of in the middle scores on the reading and writing and language. What I mean by that is I found that students who were, in dodge to maybe try to get a 640 or 650, given the number of problems that they missed on this particular test, may have actually even gotten into the 500s. And so the unevenness of that test, I think, really emerged sort of in those middle, upper middle score ranges, as opposed to those numbers right at the top. The other thing that I'm going to say about the reading and writing is that it appears that the most commonly given version of the exam in June actually had 4 questions that were completely omitted from the exam. The College Board basically threw out 2 questions in the writing and language and 2 questions in the reading section. If you omit questions, right, and you're already competing with all these students trying to get as many questions right as possible, there are then fewer items on which the College Board can compare you to these other students. So omitting 4 questions is kind of a huge issue when the curve's already really steep, and it's only going to serve to make this curve even steeper. So the first thing I want to clarify is that the SAT is not actually curved, it's scaled. And it's not curved in the sense that they don't ask, okay, who took the test in June? And according to all those people who happen to show up in June, we're going to create a bell curve, and we're just going to stick you guys all across this bell curve according to how you did. That's a curve. A scale, on the other hand, means that they design it beforehand using a cohort of people or a group of people who've been selected by the College Board to do like a faux SAT. It has anywhere from 1 to 5,000 students taking the test, that it then takes the data from those students and cross-references it to tests that those students took at another point in time that were actual SATs. So they use this process to sort of map all of the SATs together to figure out which ones are harder and which ones are easier. And then the questions are worth more points, essentially, at the top of the scale if it's really easy, because if you miss one, then you get docked a lot if it's really easy, because more people are going to get stuff right. Yes? So the irony is that the June SAT was actually too easy, because the scale penalizes you more precipitously than any scale that's ever come out for the revised SAT. We've certainly had tests of different levels before, and I'm going to show you a spreadsheet that I created, a mystical, magical spreadsheet that kind of breaks down this from a numeric point of view. This is an SAT scale of a bunch of the math exams that have been given since the redesign. I could not find online the actual scale for the June SAT. And in fact, there was a Reddit post with this on it, but then it was taken down. So I basically compiled this scale using tweets and Reddit posts But the other thing that I'm going to say is it appears that there was more than one test administered in June, meaning that some kids got a different version of the SAT than other kids. So this sort of raw score chart that I've compiled is based on what I think was the most common form that was there. So if your SAT score from June doesn't match these numbers, it could be that you got the other form that I believe was administered on that date. It looks like the College Board was experimenting a bit, maybe giving a different version of the test on this test date. So here I've ordered it from easy to hard. So here you can see January 2017 was a super hard math test. There you could actually miss 1-2 questions and get a perfect score on the math because it was so hard, right? And then over here on the easy side, we had October 2016 and then June 2018, clearly the leader of the pack. Here I've highlighted what a 700 is so you can kind of see where that staircase is. You can see here that from about a 51 to a 47 raw score is typically what a 700 is. On this exam though, it was a 54, which is outside of this whole range. Like we're not even like 1 bump outside, we're like 2 bumps outside. It's further outside than we've ever seen in either direction. So that's why so many students are so concerned. A couple of things though that are interesting about this particular score range. This is actually much more similar to what the scores were on the old SAT math exam. The old SAT math exam had much less of a cushion at the top of the scale as this exam did. And the reason that this exam has such a cushion is actually in part because of the College Board's goals in its redesign. And one of the corrections that the new test was supposed to be adding into the exam was a more granular or detailed breakdown point by point on the math section, because the math section on the old SAT 2005 to 2014 was a little bit too easy. And this was a priority that it looked like the College Board was trying to get rid of, which they did pretty successfully on these other SATs, but not on the June test. So though this might have been fair if we had this kind of a pattern overall in the SAT year after year after year, here I do think it's kind of problematic. So what can you do if you're angry or you're mad or you want to do something about your SAT score? Well, one thing you can do is you can post a comment below on this video and tell us what happened to you. 2, you can get on other social media outlets like Reddit or Twitter and talk about it. Or 3, you can go sign a petition. There's a petition right now at Quora2petitions, thepetitionsite.com, and you can join them in complaining about your SAT score. I don't know if it'll do any good. I have heard a few rumors, and these are rumors on Twitter, of the College Board's response besides their tweet that came out a few days ago, that the College Board has offered some students the ability to retake the exam for free. So if you complain to them directly and you email them at College Board online, I'm not sure, I can't promise that, but I have heard rumors on Twitter that some students have been offered that. I've also heard some rumors on Twitter that some people's scores were canceled, but I don't know if that was because of cheating scandals or something else. But we'll keep you posted if we hear anything else about this particular controversy. I think that's everything. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you're tired of the SAT, come prep for the ACT with us. Go to SupertutorTV.com and check out some more videos here on SupertutorTV to improve your score for the next time you take the test if you're headed back. So in any case, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Ciao, ciao for now.